expired. Senator Fawcett.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. You know, it's quite Orwellian to rewrite history in the way that the Labor Party is seeking to do at the moment. They seem to think that if they repeat it often enough or loud enough or in a shrill enough voice, that somehow that will make it fact. Well, the facts speak very clearly for themselves. And let's just go to this issue of employment and the unemployment rate and the figures that have come out. And I'll repeat again what I said last night in this place, because clearly Senator Lyons and members on the other side didn't listen. Michael Jander, business reporter for the ABC, the ABC is no great friend of the coalition, stated in his article published yesterday, and I quote, "The reason unemployment jumped, despite the much better than expected growth in employment, was that the participation rate soared." Okay, what that means is that because there are more people now who have the confidence to put their hand up and say, you know what, I'll give it a go. I'll see if I can get a job. The participation rate is larger, and in fact, there was an increase of some 78,600 people who decided that conditions looked good enough, they thought they had a chance of getting a job. And so they put their hand up and said, we'll give it a go. So all the economists were saying, yeah, we're expecting some jobs growth, but 38,500 in the quarter to July, that was beyond their expectations. And that's why this government can say, looking at the number of jobs that have been created, 336,000 jobs to date, that we are well and truly on track to achieving the creation of 1 million jobs in the first 5 years of this government. The important part, though, that the ALP just does not seem to manage to get their head around is that you need to create the right conditions for employment, for employers to have the confidence to invest, to employ people if you're going to create jobs. So let's go to things like the Productivity Commission. Yet another scare campaign from members opposite. Another scare campaign from the unions. And yet, when you speak to the serious people within the ALP, like their shadow employment minister, what does he say? He says, well, those arguments about things like penalty rates, I'm quoting here, I believe those arguments should be put and submitted to the independent umpire. The independent umpire, what a good idea. Well, that's the same approach that the coalition has. That's why it was established. And so rather than have a scare campaign about things like penalty rates, the independent umpire is there to deal with it. And Mr O'Connor, in fact, has said that all these things should be looked at. He says, I'm not suggesting for a moment that there aren't provisions, including penalty rates, that shouldn't be looked at. So rather than running a scare campaign against the coalition, the facts say that we are increasing business confidence. The rate of growth of jobs is 4 times under this government what it was under Labor when we came to power in 2013. The actual number of jobs is increasing. We're well on our way to 1 million. But the important part is that we are changing the conditions. Things like the carbon tax. People ask, why didn't BHP go ahead with their development at Olympic Dam, which would have created thousands of jobs in South Australia? Well, in 2012, when they decided to pull their plans, that was when the carbon tax came into effect. BHP is the largest user of electricity in South Australia. Why? Because the second highest cost to running a copper mine is electricity. And so at the very time when they would have been hoping to start recouping their investments from the expansion of Olympic Dam, under Labor's plan, carbon cost was going to be $350 per tonne. At $23 a tonne, that contributed to South Australia's electricity being the most expensive in the country. Labor have not learned from that. They are still looking at reintroducing pricing on carbon that, according to their own modelling, will push the price back to $209 per tonne. Is it any wonder that they don't understand that the way to create jobs is to set the conditions so that people have the confidence to invest? The coalition is doing that. We've abolished the carbon tax. small business tax cuts, we are creating the opportunity for jobs,
Order,
and we're
Senator,
seeing
your
those
time
results.
has expired.